What's up, everyone? Happy Friday to anyone that's watching this today. Hello, Diane Whitney in the chat. Thank you for joining. Let's see what Michelle and Tracy have in store for us today with this writing. I'm actually afraid of today's episode because I read the spoilers and I feel like it's on par to the rest of this week, which means boring. So hopefully, y'all will join me in the chat and keep me company and help it be more entertaining because we have to deal with, I think, yet another episode of trash, the fourth time this week. By the way, for anyone joining who hasn't joined before, I will be taking notes, so sorry if there's typing. And my Paramount Plus live stream is usually like a minute behind anyone watching on CBS. Damn, today I'm getting drug commercials before the show even starts. Hello to the 8 or 7 of you watching. Let me know if you're watching along, and please give me your opinions as we watch. I think mine's finally about to start. And yay, we get to start with these two having the same conversations, Joey and Trash. Diane thinks Lynette has been kidnapped by Joey. Maybe. I mean, if she's still alive, I'll take it. Jacob and Smitty in the hotel room. I mean, who could think that Grayson would have walked all the way to Ashley's bleeding out? What's up, Bobby Wobby? Thank you for joining me. I missed. Was Jacob saying, why isn't Grayson calling him when he called about 77 times? Oh my God. Sauce. I can't. I can't with Grayson just still bleeding out. Starting to be hard to suspend my disbelief. I know it's a soap opera. Maybe Nicole's love triangle will be exciting today. Hello, Kaiwan. Congratulations on your day off. I don't know if an episode with Trash, Jacob, Ashley, Naomi can be anywhere near exciting. All right, at least we have Haley and Bill. Yeah, I'm glad Haley and Bill are on today because everyone else I might have had to go get some caffeine for this episode. Bobby says Ren is literally the impaler. True. What's up, Lori? Shout out to Lori in the chat, an OCG alum. Well, I do think we're in store for a filler Friday, but what else is new? Thank you, Diane. Are you enjoying who's on today's episode so far, Diane? I mean, Vanessa alone drags the episode down. I mean, 4 times in 1 week, insane. The only person that I could think of that's getting as much airtime as Vanessa is Nicole. Maybe Jacob and Naomi because of the Impaler storyline, but like those aren't four characters that are going to excite your audience. Lori says, I've been busy as a background in a movie. Congratulations, Lori. Let me know the movie when it comes out. I'll try and look for you in the background. What's up, Carmen? Carmen says, did we figure out who was in the picture that Vanessa put up yesterday? No, I saw people posting the close up on Twitter, and I didn't know who those people were. I don't know if it was supposed to be Doug and Vanessa when they were younger, maybe. I don't know. Barracuda is the name of the movie Lori is in. Kaiwan, what movie were you in the background of? Oh, you missed it. Sorry. Diane says, I like it better with you. When it's boring, you lighten it up. I try. Got to do something, especially with the episodes this week. It's been a tough week. Probably the most boring week the show's ever had, maybe. Beyond the Gates seems familiar, Lori. Do you watch Beyond the Gates? I know you're a Days of Our Lives fan. And we have to return with Trash and Joey. For all the complaining people used to do about Leslie, I think I would take Leslie annoying people over these 2 having the same damn conversation all the time. What the hell is Vanessa talking about? Lori, yes, Beyond the Gates is always the same, just stuck on nothing right now. Sorry, I'm taking notes. Kaiwan, who's not into who? Bobby says Vanessa asking Joey to be swingers with another couple. Is that what she's getting at? Because I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. And I don't think I want to know. Honestly, Nicole and Carlton seem like a waste of time because I don't think it's going anywhere. Also, the writers need to find a way to stop saying people were out of town and then they're back when they disappear for a short time. Diane is falling asleep. Can't blame him. Mo J says, I am tired of watching Vanessa and Joey. Yeah. Also, it's not like they really even attempted to make us that invested in Ashley and Grayson for these scenes. We barely know Grayson. Lulu says it's weird the way they are okay with what Nicole is doing. Yeah, it's stupid. It's like they're all in their early 20s. So as it stands, Grayson was stabbed at the beginning of yesterday's episode, spent the whole episode bleeding out, managed to walk to Ashley's and leave the hospital, now bleeding out still in the bathroom. And he's going to survive probably after all of that nonsense. Carmen says Carlton is always begging for Nicole to care for him. Yeah, maybe he has insecurity issues. I don't know. Carlton's another underdeveloped character. Taiwan says that's a strong man. That's a strong man. He takes care of his mother. Again, makes no damn sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess Grayson's strong enough to bleed out for several hours. Happy Friday, Company Confidential. Why can't we see the show live again? What do you mean? Kaiwan thought Carlton was going to be a villain. I mean, they've teased him having anger issues, but I don't feel like Carlton's on enough for us to really get to know more about him. Not that I'm saying I want him on more, but I would take Carlton over Vanessa. BTG on my screen? I never show it on my screen because I would get removed from YouTube. I'm just watching along with the Paramount Plus live. ATC says Vanessa and Joey boring, so she wants to be like the people in the photo. Listen, I'm not going to put any brain power to even attempt to understand what the hell Vanessa's talking about with this picture because I don't care, frankly. Kaiwan says, the show doesn't. Not sure. James says Leslie has the sexiest bod on the show, but Ashley's hair is the most magnificent mane on the show. Diane says maybe we can wish that Grayson has no mother and he was talking to the impaler. Yeah, sorry, company, I can't do it on YouTube. James says Carlton is too good for Nicole. Kinda. But both Kyle and Carlton are acting so childish. And Nicole, too, of course. Kaiwan says Kyle could be the impaler because he goes around the country a lot. I mean, that would explain him being out of town. But we always hear that Andre's out of town too. Shanice was just out of town. Everybody's always out of town. ATC says Nicole Corney. True. And this story has lost steam without Lynette too. Diane says they think that Joey's apartment is bugged. It should be. If I have to hear Naomi worry about Jacob for the 200th time over the past few weeks, I don't know if I could do it. Here we go. I mean, at this point, if you watched one episode of Beyond the Gates, you might as well not watch it for weeks 'cause it's going to be the same conversations over and over. And Grayson's going to be bleeding out in different places for several episodes. And then Tweedledee and Tweedledum are investigators for Great Impaler storyline. Although Tweedledum might have put it together where Grayson is. James says Vanasti and Joey have been on 4 days out of this week. It's too bad we couldn't have had a spoonful of sugar to make their bad medicine go away. Boring as hell. Part of the reason why this week has been so boring is because it's way too much Trash and Joey having the same conversations, going nowhere. I mean, Kaiwan, some people think Joey's the Impaler. ATC says Joey got softer to me with Vanessa, and he's soft, all right. Oh, we're not even halfway through this episode. This might be the most boring episode of this boring week. Kaiwan says makes it worse that Joey gotten away with this whole murdering Vanessa's husband, Trash's husband. She doesn't even think about the husband anymore. And that's why I say that if Vanessa does find out that Joey killed Doug, how are we as an audience supposed to feel like that is a payoff because of the way Trash has been acting for so long now? ATC says, I think Ashley will call Derek. Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, only for Derek to say, I told you so. Lady Linda, shout out. Welcome to the chat. She says this episode is boring, very much so. Filler Friday, a Beyond the Gate staple. ATC says she thinks about Doug when she wants sympathy. True. Hello, Dee Dee. Bobby says yes because Derek said he got medical training. I mean, I don't see any entertaining directions this episode can go. And I think the show's only on 3 times next week because of soccer. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. ATC says this Madison lawsuit is even boring. She's a doctor, they get sued. It's also boring because everyone just talks about it, but we don't even see Madison. They talk about Madison, but we never see Madison. We never see Madison's mother. Not that I think Madison could spice up an episode, but I would take her over Vanessa. Kaiwan says this Madison lawsuit was giving. Dee Dee says it's back on. I'm like a 30 seconds behind Dee Dee. ATC says, "Do you think Madison's mother will appear? I mean, maybe she'll be like Mama Hawthorne, and eventually we will see Madison's mom." I mean, Grayson should be more unconscious than this after bleeding out for hours. Bobby says, "Go to the free clinic." They might as well. That's where they could see Derek, but they don't have a set, so that's not going to happen. I mean, they could go anywhere else, Kaiwan, than the hospital that Grayson works at. I mean, the DMV has plenty of hospitals. Lori says, right about Grayson, like who bleeds that much and is still alive? True. Although it is a soap opera, but nonetheless. James says, Beyond the Gates is beating us all over our collective heads with the boring episodes. Makes one wonder if they value their audience. I don't know. Thank you, company, for telling people to like the video. Dee Dee says, no way would Smitty or Jacob would show up. Show up where, Dee Dee? Well, let's see what Chelsea has to say about Haley. Probably nothing great. Haley chatting up the bartender. Whatever happened to her crush on Isaiah? That went nowhere. Bobby says, I feel like they take the fans for granted personally. It's feeling that way so far this year. Season 2 has been abysmal and boring. Hello, Philly fashionista. I can't take Carlton. He is weak. The writing is unrealistic. For Carlton, he does act a little too weak. The love triangle is unrealistic because they act younger than they are. Yeah, I'm not even paying attention to Vanessa and Joey. I'm gonna do them like I did in yesterday's episode. James says we are literally being violated by Vanasti and Joey's boring activities in this episode. We've been violated all week by them. They've had more kissing this week than I think Isaiah and Eva have ever had in months. Company says, yeah, no man would knowingly mess with you if he knows you're actively sleeping around. Yeah, maybe unless that person was also dating around, but it feels like Carlton is has his sights only set on Nicole, which is kind of the problem I have with the story is like Kyle and Carlton are just so focused on Nicole and not doing their own thing too. Well, we've made it halfway through. We're getting through this, everybody. We can do it. We're bleeding out like Grayson, but we can get through this. Dee Dee says, so how many of you think Kyle is the impaler? Maybe. At this point, I don't know if the impaler is going to be a big enough reveal for me, but hopefully they can pull it off. Kaiwan says, it's almost like Joey's not a main character. I mean, I feel like Joey's one of the main characters. Lately, Vanessa and Joey have been eating the show alive. ATC says Carlton and Kyle need to date other people. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. ATC says, how is Grayson conscious? I guess the same way we're conscious watching this episode. Lady Linda says, I think it's possible. You think what's possible? Kaiwan wants you to put a 1 in the chat if you think the impaler is Kyle, a 2 in the chat if you think it is Joey, and a 3 if you think it's Joey's sister. At this point, since Joey's the main character, I'll put a 2 in the chat for Joey. Diane says bleeding, but as Grayson can walk away. ATC says, I need to know what Andre is doing at the condo. I hope it's another bed partner. That'd be a twist. Then Andre would actually be a player. So far, Joey is leading the vote as the impaler, barely. Dee Dee says, I think about it, Nicole sleeping with the impaler. I mean, that could be Carlton too, though. Bobby Wobby says, "I believe you now when you say Michelle Jean got a crush on Joe." She definitely does. She definitely really loves her some John Lindstrom. I mean, they worked together for years, but it's bordering on crush now. Company says, "I think it's a lady, but Leah is not the top boss." I don't think she's the top boss either, especially after the whole stabbing in the hospital made no sense in yesterday's episode. ATC says, "He came in as a player. Let's keep that up. Good story." But they never show him as a player. I'd be down for that though. Carmen says the picture that Vanessa just took with Joey will get into the wrong hands. I wish Joey had a rival and they can just take Vanessa out. I'd be satisfied with that storyline. Kill her off. ATC says Nicole is boring. She needs to realize these men will not sit around waiting, and yet they're sitting around waiting. Dee Dee says no way. It is Carlton. It's possible. They've showed his anger issues at times. What Brian storyline, Kaiwan? Devin says Tyler, happy Friday. Who's Tyler? But happy Friday, Devin. Devin, it's a filler Friday. One of the fillerest Fridays. James says, holding on to my dark horse theory that Marcel Malone is the impaler. He could be working for Joey as a way to keeping a dangerous enemy close. I'd be down for Marcel being the impaler. Oh my god. I mean, I might as well make Joey and Vanessa the thumbnail for the review later since they've been on so much this week. Alvin says they make the guys on this week. I've been preaching that for so long. It's true. What's the Brian name? Company says the rival could take No Moss too. Yes, take out all the boring characters. Give me a serial killer. There's plenty of characters they could kill off. So much dead weight on this show. I can't with Jacob being upset with Grayson like it's not his fault. Dee Dee says Joey might start following Smitty after the talk with Martin. Maybe. Bobby thinks the show should have shown flashbacks of Andre being a player. Yes, they tell us too many things, Bobby, instead of showing us. Kaiwan says Joey and Vanessa. You can put Joey and Vanessa and Gio and Emma, the worst we ever. Gio and Emma are very boring on General Hospital. Molly and Cody are more boring though. But Vanessa and Joey are the worst couple in soaps right now. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I've been zoning out of this episode to talk to you all, but, we didn't see Ashley, like, suture up Grayson's wound, it's a knife wound, it's not like it's a little cut that could take a Band-Aid. Dee Dee says, "Didn't Marcel say he can't be on the case, so that's why Jacob on the case? Marcel, no, Jacob's on the case." Because yeah, maybe it's Marcel, he don't wanna investigate himself. No, I don't know. That could be true. Lori also wants a serial killer. I think it would be more exciting. Guy Wan says Jacob should be an accountant. I mean, he would be better at that than whatever kind of undercover cop he thinks he is. James says Grayson has been bleeding for how long and now lying in Ashley's bed. He actually looks as if he's on the road to recovery. What the hell is going on? Your guess is as good as mine. ATC says Jacob put all these people in danger. Yeah, it's Jacob's fault. He should be an accountant, like Kaiwan said. James says Grayson was brutally attacked, bleeding all over the place, but he likes Ashley's shirt. Somebody stop the show. We all need to get Yeah, it's been a rough one. Devin's asking Grayson was stabbed in his kidney area. How can Ashley just wrap him up? Yeah, like that's supposed to just stop the bleeding. Alvin says, I want a girlfriend who's a nurse to stash me in a bedroom when I'm stabbed. Well, don't go getting stabbed out there, Alvin. Kaiwan says Jacob put his wife in danger and his wife's best friend. But let Jacob tell it. It's Grayson's fault. It's all Grayson's fault. Diane says, and no blood on Ashley's top or any other place. Yeah, just her hand. Although I'm okay with the lack of seeing blood because it's daytime. I'm sure they have limits, but nonetheless. Well, earlier I asked if it's a good thing or a bad thing that there's only 3 episodes next week, but I think it's a good thing for us. I think we could use a break from these boring episodes that we're getting. Here go these 2, acting like high school. Devin says, "Can't wait for the Tide Special blood remover commercial next week, starring Ashley again." I mean, I would prefer 5 days too, Dee Dee, but the show would if the show was better, I would be less sad that there's only 3 episodes next week. Soccer will be interrupting the show next week. That's why there's no episodes on Tuesday and Wednesday, I think. James is getting irritable with this episode, saying Danny's couch looks like it should be in a frat house with vomit stains all over it. It does look like it should be in Haley's tacky house. Dee Dee says the writers have their favorites, Ashley and Leslie. It's definitely not Ashley anymore. The favorites are Vanessa and Joey, and a side of Leslie. Guy once says, "Feels like a black R&B singer bought that in the '80s. That couch does look like it's from the '80s." You know what would be great about Chelsea, Naomi questioning Haley is if it actually led to Bill gaining his brain cells back. Well, it's back to trash and Joey, so let me read the chat and not pay attention because I don't care. Dee Dee says, "Oh, Vanessa as well." Yeah, trash. Definitely a favorite. Alvin says, "Isn't the actress playing Chelsea leaving the show?" Devin said that the other day too. I have not seen that from a real source. Oh, Vanessa's just so pathetic. Kaiwan says Vanessa lost her husband like 4 months ago and now staying with Joey. Dee Dee says, "Oh, Vanessa will try to get Joey to do another double date with her new friends that was mentioned." I mean, at this point, I don't even know how Vanessa has friends. Because if one of my friends just went on and on about this guy who sucked or this girl who sucked, and they were just trying to say like they were just the best person in the world, I would get sick of hearing that every single day. Because that's all Vanessa talks about is Joey. Lady Linda says Vanessa is so clingy. Yeah. Well, at least we've made it to the last segment. I mean, at this point, ATC, the entire triangle's pretty unrealistic with the way everyone's acting in it. Like they're not old. Alvin says, "Who told Vanessa the low cut dresses and fake boob show is attractive? She looks wretched." There's always sirens around here, Devin. James says, "We might as well get ready. At the rate the last 2 weeks episodes have been going, the cotillion is going to be a disastrous disappointment." My expectations are so low for the cotillion that if they're still disappointing to me, then it must be pretty bad. Yes, Kaiwan, it's the last segment, thankfully. Devin says, "My wife's best friend lost her grandma a few years ago, like 2 months after she passed, her grandma was sleeping with a new woman, but her entire family ostracized him for a while. It's too soon." That is soon. How old was this guy? He put on some moves. Kaiwan asking if we're going to find out that Joey's sister runs the cotillion or something. What's the big deal with the cotillion? I mean, there's not much drama outside of Samantha versus Francesca, but Francesca's been on like what, twice? ATC says we really have to hear Martin debate. Well, we really have to hear Martin debate. I hope not. Devin says like 75. He's rich, rich though, so I think that's how. Oh, that'll do it. All right, let's see this last segment. Let me take some notes for once today. Dee Dee says, too much filler. Do we need to see Carlton and Kyle? I'll take them over Vanessa and Joey. Oh, and so now Carlton and Kyle are going to have a friendly game for Nicole. I agree, Alvin. They need some dignity. Yes, Lulu Carlton's had a crush on Nicole even when married to his best friend. Oh my God. Bill. Yeah, I don't know how Haley went to the bar to right behind them without them noticing. Devin says, I think Bill needs to get seduced by someone other than Haley. Should have been Lynette. James says, the best part of the show so far is the music they were playing while Chelsea and Bill were talking. It was smooth. Lulu says Bill will surely run back to Danny when Haley is found out about. Oh, 100%. That's why Andre better find his player ways. Dee Dee says maybe Bill did notice it. I don't think so. Bill too dumb. Bobby says, I would like to see one of Bill's former mistresses pop up. I would do that. Dee Dee says, yes, I really like Lynette being there. Is she really dead? I mean, hopefully not. But with the way this show makes decisions, probably. Kaiwan asks if Andre wants kids. Devin says then Andre's going to have to act like a tough guy again and go see and face 6'4", 330-pound Bill. Yeah, I think Bill can take Andre. I can't believe we're really supposed to think that that little Band-Aid is keeping Grayson alive. Well, the preview looks like, more limping next week, I fear, although we'll have Vernon versus Joey, I guess, as something. And Smitty and Martin maybe being hypocrites with Samantha and Terrell when they were so upset with Samantha fooling around. While we survived a boring week of the show, y'all, today sucked with a capital S, I fear, but you all made it far more entertaining. So thank you for joining me. I'll read a few more chat comments and then I must go. Lulu says, I knew Nicole still wants Ted. I do think they are circling back to that, and I'm not really on board with it yet. Kaiwan says, sorry, Kaiwan, sometimes I don't know who you're talking about. James says Bill would fold Andre and put him in his back pocket 100%. Dee Dee says, how can Ashley not think internal bleeding? Maybe not the best nurse. Maybe Leah's right about Ashley. Lori says soap opera magic. I mean, yeah, that is what it is. James says previews for next week look promising. I'm out. See ya, James. Devin says, genuinely really dislike the Kings being a New York fan. So good luck Sunday. Go win it, Avs. Yes, go Avs. I think they should win the series. I mean, they're up 3-0 and the best team in the league. Diane says, the preview was more exciting than that whole show. Sadly, on most filler Fridays, that is the case. Dee Dee says, we need Vernon to be tougher than Joey. He's a Dupree. Hopefully. ATC says every preview looks promising but falls flat. That is the truth. But what daughter have sex? Oh, you mean Samantha have sex with the guy? Yeah, they kind of dropped that storyline a little too soon for me. Lori, you have a great one too. Diane, have a great one. ATC says Vernon stepping to Joey is comical. It kind of is. Although not really, because Joey's Grandpa Gangster, so I kind of see Vernon and Joey on the same level, to be honest. But anyway, with that, I must go. Oh, shout out to Jasmine. Jasmine says this show went from must-see TV to recap catch-ups, and that's what I must go do. Review the show for later. So I will see you all next week.